So, tea time on day three. England 11 without loss in their second innings, and they trail by 84. The reason they got that sort of deficit was because Jasprit Bumrah was in the mood. A last wicket partnership that frustrated Joe Root and Cole and ensured India's lead nearly edged up to 100. We look back at the end of that India innings as well as a fine innings by Ravindra Jadeja to ensure India have a pretty good first innings lead. VVS Laxman and Ian Bell with me on ESPN Cricket for Match Day. Good session, you think that, Laxman, for India?
Yeah, absolutely. While KL Rahul will be disappointed to not get to that three-figure mark, but I thought the way Jadeja applied himself and also the lower order contribution or the contribution from the tailenders, because that's one aspect in Indian batting which has been a big letdown. If you compare to the tailenders contribution of other countries, I think India will be probably in the bottom half. So it was good to see Bumrah and Shami, put value to their wicket and also play some big shots. And those runs are invaluable, because it plays with the psyche of the opposition bowling attack. Because you already saw the tired, bodies of Robinson, Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad who bowl a lot of overs, but also for the opening pair, because they will be probably already planning for their innings. But the more delay you have as far as getting those last wickets, the more delayed it is, the more frustrated the opposition team will be, including the opposition captain. So it was invaluable runs by Bumrah and Shami.
Yeah, were they really putting more value on their wicket, or were they just getting away with more slogs today, VVS?
Yeah, I think see that's how you expect a number 10, number 11, or even number 9 batsman to play. But I think those runs are invaluable. It
Yes, of
doesn't
course.
matter how they come and which part of the ground they come. Because otherwise the lead would have been probably close to 50, but now it's 95,
Yeah,
and suddenly the whole psyche and the mindset of the opposition batting lineup will change. There will be a little bit of despondency. They also know that 95 runs is a huge lead, keeping in
yeah.
mind the way both the first innings has panned out. So I think just the psychological advantage India got through that contribution from Shami, Bumrah, and Siraj is excellent. And it will really give them that extra boost of confidence when they come out to bowl.
Yep, yep. We've seen it happen a lot to India by opposition sides. Well, it's almost a bit of a joke that India's real task or test starts after they've picked up 5 or 6 wickets because the tail invariably seems to wag against India. Now, I don't know how often you've been in those situations, but if you put into Joe Root or the England camp's shoes, you're looking at your second innings already, looking at a deficit of 50, 60, and suddenly it's 95. What do you go through?
Yeah, but they would have been, desperate, and that would have been the plan to blow India's tail away as quick as possible. And I think when you play on wickets like this as well, and there are good balls in there all the time, we saw Kohli get a good delivery. These runs, your lower order runs, are massive. You can't emphasize if you can have your tail that can wag and score those runs. It's so important in the Test match and in the series. So, look, I think England's bowlers as well. They toiled hard, they scrapped away. And now it's up to the batters, isn't it, to really try and put some pressure now back onto India. But again, 90 runs on this surface looks good. And I'd imagine from India's point of view now, if they can chip away and they get Joe Root before England get a lead, they'll be really, really happy.
Ravindra Jadeja, the batter, VVS. He continues to, add credibility to his selections or the decisions to select him as a batter in overseas conditions. What did you make of this innings?
Yeah, and I've maintained this, Raunak, since last 2 years. He's been very consistent. He's played some important knocks, probably since the 2019 World Cup match against New Zealand. The way he batted in that match at Old Trafford. I just felt that he's been very consistent. Add to that is bowling and the kind of value he gives to the team with his excellent fielding. I think it's a complete package. And any day I would always show a lot of trust and believe in his attributes to be an excellent all-rounder. Yes, you miss someone like Hardik Pandya who gives you that medium pace option, but I feel at number 7, I think it's a complete package. It will give you runs not only when the situation is easy and favorable for the team, but in tough situation. I still remember the 50 runs and the partnership he had with Ajinkya Rahane in Melbourne when the conditions were suiting the Australian bowlers. So he's played some knocks under pressure and when it meant a lot for the Indian team. So that's why I'll always back him. There were a lot of questions asked whether he should be the preferred number 7 or should India go with an additional batsman against New Zealand in the World Test Championship final. And I felt that what an extra batsman can give as far as his batting is concerned or with runs, Ravindra Jadeja can play a similar kind of role. In fact, can be more attacking, more positive than probably a genuine batsman. And every match it just adds the credibility, and I'm sure Virat Kohli will trust a lot more in his batting abilities going forward.
They got the big wicket of KL Rahul after lunch, as soon as they reliked belly, and then Jadeja and the tail. Like, what went wrong with England there, just from a bowling front? Why couldn't they wrap things up?
Well, I think as well on this surface now, I think going forward as well, I think the catch, England have dropped a couple of catches. They've missed a run-out opportunity as well. So it'll be fascinating to see if India get those opportunities now, if they're more clinical than England have been so far. Look, I think it's always temptation, isn't it, when the tail enders come in and they are swinging as you go away from plan A and keep bowling your best delivery. And I think, again, credit to India. I thought they actually batted really well. I think as soon as that new ball came around, I mean, the one thing that new ball, yes, it will do a bit, but it's harder. It will go to the fence a bit faster. And they just shifted the momentum. I thought it was a really good tactical plan from India to be a bit more aggressive. And as I said, England, when they'll look at it, and they do set high standards, as all the international teams do, but they'll look back, I suppose, on this innings with a couple of drop catches and, like I said, that missed run out in crucial moments where every run's going to count when we look back at the end of this test match.
Well, worth pointing out, it's only Ollie Robinson's second test match. You take a 5-wicket haul, even if it's taken a while to come. It's got the makings of being an important part of England's summer, Benny.
In these conditions, definitely his height, as we said, he's challenging the stumps. He's looking, he can nip the ball back in, so that LBW bowled. And then obviously if it straightens, the court behind as well. Yeah, he has been for a while a handy bowler in these conditions. Be fascinating to see in the next 12 months. Can he take this away from home on flatter surfaces, different ball without the Duke's ball? But so far, the New Zealand Test match and this Test match so far, he's been outstanding. He's obviously mentally had to deal with a few things off the field as well, and he's bounced back as well. So he looks a resilient character. And somebody, again, like I said, he looked like he enjoyed the contest there as well, especially when the Indian batters were coming really hard at the end. He looked like he enjoyed that battle. So far in the 2 test matches he's played, he's been very impressive, in England's shirt.
Where would he rank, though, in the pecking order? If you get a Chris Woakes fit, a Mark Wood fit, Jofra Archer seems to be a while away from full fitness. But where would he rank now? Would he be an automatic selection for the next couple of tests for you?
Got 5 wickets, haven't they? I mean, it's... he's doing what he can do. We know Chris Woakes, again, in England, has got a fantastic record. And obviously does play that. He probably would be either a Woakes or a Curran. I think as an out and out, the top 3 bowlers at the moment. I think Robinson with Broad and Anderson get in that. The interesting thing will be will Broad and Anderson get through 5 test matches on the bounce? Will Robinson do that? They're going to have to, I suppose, bring in Wood at some point. And if Woakes is fit as the series goes on, I expect to see him play some part. But as in terms of holding his position in the team, he can't do any more than what he's done so far. He's been outstanding.
Before I get on to India's bowling, VVS, have you ever seen Bumrah hit a 6?
I saw he got a half century against some team in Sydney, before the Test series, and everyone was excited. I know that, I think that match was telecasted in India, and everyone was so excited just to see Bumrah get to a half century. And since then, I think he's taken his batting very seriously, which is good. That's what you want, because in my playing days, I can tell that at least 60% or 70% of my runs whenever I was batting at number 5, number 6 was only because the bowlers with whom I played took a lot of pride in their batting, wanted to always improve and put value to their wicket, and those vital partnership helped me to, in fact, get a lot more runs in my test career than probably what I would have got. So I think it's great to see Shami, Siraj and also Bumrah have their own method, but getting those runs is very, very critical.
Yeah, I think that's the time that he was promoted, wasn't he, Bumrah? He came up as night bowler for a couple of games. He's come at 9 instead of coming at 10, 11 or 12 at times. VVS, from all the batters that you batted, the tail end batters, is there a funny story you can recall of when they have hit that 1-6 that, that they kept repeating the story of? I can imagine Bumrah with what is now his first test 6 will have that story in the dressing room for a while to come.
Yeah, I think, there are a lot of stories, because the bowlers with whom I played were all characters, whether it's Harbhajan Singh, whether it's Zahir Khan, I had a lot of vital partnership with them, crucial partnership. But I think one shot which I will never ever forget, and Ashish Nehra will make sure that we don't forget, is that 68 of Freddie Flintoff in this 2002 Lord's Test match. And it was just a phenomenal shot. We were struggling. We were almost going to lose that Test match. Ajit Agarkar on the other end was scoring really well. I think he got 100 in the Test.
Yeah.
And the way Ashish Nehra hit that six, and that too of a bouncer playing that full shot, and the sound, when the impact happened was just unbelievable. And even though we were losing, you could see a lot of smiles on our faces when the camera focused on the changing room of the Indian team. So that shot I'll never ever forget.
Yeah, I love it. I'm not sure how much Ajit would have liked Ashish hitting that, getting close to 100. But anyway, Belly, what's the best six from a low order batter that you recall in your long career?
I'm trying to think. I mean, there's been a few. To be honest, one of the most favourite lower order players I played was Monty Panesar, because again, he actually looked technically quite nice, but you just never quite knew what was going to happen. It could be anything from a run out to a beautiful straight drive to missing just a straight ball that's done nothing. So, I mean, Monty was a great character, but yeah, it was box office when he walked out to bat, because anything was possible.
Yep. Jasprit Bumrah is now the proud owner of his highest ever Test score after today. So he'll take that as it goes on. Now, what about those few overs that we saw? Siraj opening the bowling. I was listening to commentary in Sean Pollock saying here in India, VVS, that he wanted the lens to be a bit fuller. It wasn't like what it was in the first innings. Are India adopting a different plan from the first innings?
I hope they don't, because with the Duke's new ball, irrespective of whether there's overcast conditions or not, or how dry the wicket is, with the new ball, you know that you're going to get the swing in the air, you're going to get purchase in the air, and I think all the three fast bowlers are quite skillful. I mean, sorry, all the four fast bowlers. I forgot the Shardul Thakur is in this game. So all the four fast bowlers are quite skillful, and the only way they can get wickets and put pressure on the England openers is by pitching the ball up. Yes, I just felt that it was more back of length, but I can understand because they just batted probably a little longer than probably they've been used to. So I'm sure post T that will be the strategy from the Indian bowlers, because they will know that while they've got 95 runs lead, they cannot take anything for granted, because it's a great opportunity for the English batsmen, Ronak. I feel that whenever there's so much of criticism, everyone don't rate you, they're putting you down, they don't think that you're good enough to play Test cricket or represent the country. The only way to prove yourself, not really the critics, is by going out and performing, show that killer instinct, mental toughness. And I feel it's a great opportunity for these youngsters who are yet to establish themselves that we can do something special for our country. And that's why India cannot be off guarded. They want to be focusing as much as possible and get wickets. And the only way to get wickets is by pitching the ball up.
They didn't do a lot of that, Belly, in those 6 overs. Is that down to what conditions we're now witnessing, and is that likely to stay the same going into the last session?
Yeah, again, I think with Trent Bridge in time as well, they'll have a heavy roller just now on it as well, which will just slow it down a little bit maybe from yesterday. So again, I can probably see over time fielders may be coming more in front of the bat. We've seen a couple of catches already, short mid-wicket or a short cover. So that will probably come into play as this Test match goes on. But again, for India now, it's just patience. It said, the sun might be out now, but in an hour's time, it might be overcast, lights back on, and it starts to swing a bit more. It will just be down to patience. You look at, I suppose, the England bowlers, Anderson and Robinson were outstanding, got the wickets, but Broad and Curran still went over 3 and over, whether they chased it a little bit. So I think the bowlers who are willing to be patient and stack up maidens, with the Duke's ball, if you just keep hitting an area, one will do something, and it's just creating that pressure. If they chase it, then that's where I think it falls into the England batsman's favour, and they just get the odd clip ball or the odd bad ball to put away. But again, if they just go down to that basics of maiden after maiden, something will happen at some point.
Were you surprised, VVS, that Shami didn't get the new ball?
Yeah, I was a little surprised, because in fact, I was expecting Siraj to open along with Bumrah in the first innings. Yes. But once you gave the responsibility to Shami, and he was brilliant, right from the word go, along with Bumrah in the first innings, I was a little surprised. Maybe because it was only a short spell, probably only 6 overs. Maybe Shami was not probably 100% warmed up. There may be various reasons which we don't know. But I thought that Shami should have opened with Jasprit Bumrah after the way both of them bowled in the first spell in the first innings.
Yeah, well, let's see if Virat Kohli goes to Mohammad Shami. You think standout bowler of that first innings in this Test match, and we think that we will have a clear indication of where this Test is heading at the end of the day's play. So let's join Ian Bell and VVS Laxman then on ESPN Cricket for Matchday. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Let's hope we have another uninterrupted session of play. Again, it's an extended session. Play can even go up until midnight Indian Standard Time. That's 7:30 in the UK. So let's see how much cricket we get, and we'll be back to wrap it all up on ESPN Cricket for Matchday.